Hey everyone, welcome to the module on Bollinger Bands resistance and support. So you can pop open any coin chart and simply go to the order book and you're going to get a good representation of support and resistance. Now on the timeline here where we see what the market's actually doing, you can see green buyer support, you can see red seller resistance. Okay, that's what it is. Green buyer support, red seller resistance. Now here's the really cool thing about this. When you're strategically trying to place a buy or a sell and you want to actually know some probability to if your buy order is going to fill, if the market's going to come down to that point for your buy order to be able to fill in the immediate future, or if your sell order is going to fill anywhere near the immediate future if you want it to do so, you can actually have some educated information to tell you where you need to place your buy or sell orders so you can make profits. So if we go into order book, for example, it brings up an entirely different chart. Now, green is support. This is buyer's support. Okay, these are the people that want to buy the coin when it's worth lower. Red is seller resistance, saying no, we want the volume to drive upwards so we can sell it higher. The green is saying no, we want there to be volume on the coin, but we want the volume to work in our favor going down so we can fill up all of these buy orders. Okay, so green is buyer support, red is seller resistance. And where they meet in the middle is literally where the market is out right now. So if you see it's 2354, 2360, well, clearly look at this, 2355, 2360. We can see it's right there. And what does this stuff actually mean? Well, if we scroll down, let's scroll down and we'll look at our order book and we'll look at our bids and our asks. Notice this. There is people wanting to buy for 2305 Satoshi, 2305 Satoshi. They want 864 coins there, 4,320 coins here. Total cost is going to be 0.019 Bitcoin, 0060. Somebody's going to spend 0.37 Bitcoin on 16,461. A little bit bigger of an order. Then we have the asks over here. Here's somebody that is going to sell almost an entire Bitcoin, which is totaling 39,068 Syscoin at 2,360 Satoshi. So do you see this right here? A whole Bitcoin, they want to sell at 2,360 Satoshi. Let's look at that real quick. If we go up here, what's happening at 2,360 Satoshi? We're seeing this little wall right here. See this right here? Look at that. Look at that change. 2353, and at the top is 2360. Do you see how there's a wall there? There's a wall. That very first part of the red is a wall. That is what we call a sell wall. This is somebody that has a much larger order at a specific price, saying, I want to sell all of this at this price. The reason we see a wall there is because that order to fill 0.92 Bitcoin worth, totaling 39,068 Syscoin. Look how much bigger it is than all the other orders in here. If we pop back here, we see 14,000, 24,000 at 2398. Where's 2398? Right in here, 2398. So we see this whole wall right here is another person with a massive sell order saying we want to sell here. Does that make sense? Now, on the buyer's side, we have somebody that wants to buy tons right here at about 2,222. So if we scroll down and we look at 2,222, what's happening there? 2,222. Let me go back and look at that again. So that is, did I read that right? 2222, 2219. And we have a huge buy order right there. So what's happening at 2219? 2219, go back to the second page, third page. Let's try the fifth page. 2219. Look at this. We have a whole bunch. We have 90,000. We have an order for 90,000 waiting to be filled. If it goes down to 2,221 Satoshi, we have 90,000 and 78,000. Relative to the rest of these orders in here, those are significant walls. Buy walls and sell walls. So if the market is right here right now and you're looking to buy into it, what this is simply saying is in order for the market to be brought back to 2,223 Satoshi, there needs to be a total of 4.4 volume in Bitcoin. Clearly that's not that much volume that has to move when 317 Bitcoin worth of volume has happened today in the last 24 hours. So in order for the market to be pushed back down to 2,222 Satoshi, it needs a volume of 4.41 Bitcoin. At 4.41 Bitcoin, we need to have a volume of about 2,400 right in here along this sell wall. So 4.41 Bitcoin, the market would come up to about 2,400 Satoshi to be able to get to 4.41 Bitcoin or somewhere around there. The market needs to go down to 2,222 Satoshi to get down to 4.41 Bitcoin here. So you can use your education now to go, okay, is this market right now about to go down or is it about to go up? Is it moving in a downward trend or is it moving in an upward trend? Right now, I could tell you that it's probably going up because look at this. It's very easy for it to get to right here at the moment compared to right here. It's moving in the seller's favor. It's going to go up a little bit because look, it only takes 0.23 Bitcoin volume to get here. But look what's happening immediately here. We need over a Bitcoin worth to get past this first initial buy wall because probably one of these first couple orders is a significant amount. Yeah, look at the first one. It's 10,000. It's almost a quarter Bitcoin. 5,000. Somebody's trying to wait and watch. As soon as that fills, that wall is going to go away. So this is buyer support and this is seller resistance. The seller's saying, no, we don't want it to go down this way. So all of the sellers are getting in and they're putting in their orders, equating to 15 Bitcoin volume to get up to 2,902. But then we've got a lot of buyers saying, well, hey, a lot of us want to buy the coin and all the way to get back to 1,750 Satoshi is 18 Bitcoin. Right now, it's going to go up to about here fairly easily, 2,396. So if you owned this coin for, any less than, say, 2,000, which is about 32 US cents, and you wanted to make a little quick profit, you could put in a sell order at 2,392, somewhere around there. It's probably going to reach that fairly quickly because it only needs 0.79 Bitcoin to get up to almost 2,400 Satoshi. But it needs almost a full Bitcoin to go down in the market. So it'd be real easy if you owned this coin for any less than right here. The farther back you own it this way, obviously the better. But if you owned this coin for anywhere back of where it's at now and you want to make a quick profit, you could tell based on this resistance here that there's not a whole lot of resistance to get up to this point. You could probably make a little bit of a profit right here, right now, if you wanted. It's going to take a lot of volume, about 1 Bitcoin all the way up to 4. It's going to take about 3.34 Bitcoin to get past this sell wall. So these guys in up here are going to have to wait. Once it reaches here, it's going to be pretty easy to carry the market from here up to here because you've got a whole bunch of little orders, little sell orders. And this one, they're going to have to pump over again. So say the market did reach here and you've got one big significant sell order right here. You have to strategically think, okay, well, am I okay taking a profit right here, or am I going to get a little greedy or a little proud and trust that it's going to go over this sell wall, continue going up? Because it's got to do 10 Bitcoin in volume to get here. So where am I going to want to get my profits? Where am I going to want to place myself exiting this trade? Okay, so say I own down in here, or maybe I even own back here from previous day when it was lower. I can see that right now, to get up to about this point, not a big deal if I want to make a little profit. It's all relative to where you own this coin. But I can see I got a little wall right here, and I can see I got a big wall right here. So if I'm looking to buy this coin, it's going to take a little bit of volume to get back in the current market. It's going to take 8 Bitcoin volume if I want to get back anywhere south of 2200 Satoshi. It's going to take almost 8 Bitcoin in volume. It's going to take a lot of volume right here, a few Bitcoin, 4.5 Bitcoin to get past 2400 Satoshi and to continue climbing up. But hey, if it gets past there, I can get all the way up to about 2494, 2495 Satoshi before I got to worry about this guy's sell order and have to overcome him if I want to sell up in here. So that is your buyer support and your seller resistance. This is where the market is at now. I can tell you once again right now, it looks like it's going to go down to 23.23 real quick. I bet it will, because look at this. There's no volume needed for it to get down to 23.22. I bet any second we're going to see this start to go down. 23, okay, let's see. That's 23.27 right in there. Oops, let me get out of that. Ask bids, show all. Okay, let me see. Okay, so we have 23.24. Shouldn't take much to get back there. There's nothing going on. There's also nothing going on to get up to 23.73 currently. So right now it's going to swing between 23.24 and 23.74 is what we're going to see. So you can see this, and you can watch over here what's going on. The ask is coming down. The bid is going up, and we've got some big seller resistance here with a mega order right in here. So that is buyer support and seller resistance. Use it to your advantage to strategically predict where you should place a sell order if you currently own the coin, what your resistance is going to be if you want to sell, because if there's any of these guys that hold a lot of this coin, you're going to have to get past these sell walls. And it does happen. Sometimes if the volume is going so well in an upward bull trend, it will pass this wall like no problem. This guy's sell order will get eaten up and it will continue on, and you can make money through here. So don't be scared of these sell walls, or don't be scared that your buy order won't fill when it has a wall to go through, because you have to think about other variables such as Bitcoin being on a bubble and plummeting in value, and people coming back into altcoins because they're losing money in their Bitcoin investments, and now they're coming back over to go to altcoins. So you got to take that into consideration, and if that happens, sure as can be, you're going to see this coin plummet, or excuse me, you're going to see this coin excel right through all of this seller resistance, and it'll fill these orders and it'll go up. So just use this to your advantage, because for me right now, say I owned this coin right now. Say I owned this coin and I owned it at 2200, so somewhere probably right in here. 2222. Say I owned it right around in there. What I'd be looking at right now is I'd go, okay, well, I own it for 2200. Obviously, if I sell right now, 2200 is about 35 cents. It's at 36, 37 cents. I'll make a penny. I'll make 2 cents on every coin. If I have enough of them, I can make a profit. Or I might go, that's not enough, and I might start looking at this. Well, it doesn't have to go up a whole lot for me to get to 23.94, 2400, which is going to be about 38 cents. I'll make 3 cents on each coin. If I own enough of them, I might do that. Or I might say, you know what? I love doing my, my short-term trades and my day trading profits, but, I'm really looking for something greater. I want to see this coin go up, to 2,500, for example, and I want to see myself make 12 cents on every coin. Or you're in a position where you're like, hey, I got some Bitcoin, I'm trying to invest. Where can I strategically go? I'm like, okay, yeah, if I want to wait this long and have it come back here, and who knows, maybe you're okay with it. Maybe the rest of the market's showing that, it's moving into a bear market, and it probably will go that direction. But when I'm looking at significant buy orders right here, and I have to go from 3.3 Bitcoin to 7.5 before I can get this far back here, and it doesn't have to do anywhere near that to get past this guy's sell wall, Well, I might try to place a buy order right back in here, right before this guy, right around 22, 23, 22, 26, which is going to be about 33 cents, somewhere in there. And then I might be able to go ahead and see that this breaks through, because if it comes back, this guy's might fill. We might get some more sellers trying to sell out in that time, and somebody starts buying into this wall gets broke down, and maybe I have an opportunity to put in a sell somewhere here where there's not a whole lot of walls for me to break through, and I can turn my 2222 into 2500, make roughly 280 Satoshi on every single one, which is going to be about a nickel. And heck, if I've got a half a Bitcoin, if I have a tenth of a Bitcoin, that's going to be doing a little bit of good to my wallet. So that is, once again, green buyer support, red seller resistance. Now, another thing that we want to look at is a Bollinger Bands. Let's take a look at that. So when we click this chart, we've got a whole bunch of different things that we can do. Studies, I mean. And if we go to studies, we can click Bollinger Bands. What we want to do is we can change these. So we can change the color. So say we want the Bollinger Band top to be, let's do blue, and Bollinger Band bottom to be, let's just keep it black, and then we'll create it. Here's what we have going on. We've got a top Bollinger Band, a bottom Bollinger Band, and a median. Okay, intermediate, kind of in the middle. It's called a median Bollinger Band. What we have is the top one is following kind of the top and the more significant candles on the top. The bottom is following the flow of the bottom, and the middle is showing the middle trend. The thing to keep in mind with Bollinger Bands, it's literally a tool that you can put on the chart to see where the market is going to go. It's an indicator. It's a suggestion. It's a hint or a tool to help you give an educated, formal decision on where the market is going to go. So what we typically see, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Not that far, but like maybe here. Okay, there's a couple points where we see this. Can I go over this way a little bit? Okay. If you look closely right in here, you can see that it just barely breaks through the top Bollinger Band. Oftentimes, when you see a breakthrough in a Bollinger Band, so say it was like literally the timing of this, say you were looking at this and you saw that it just broke through, so say it was right here on this vertical line that I saw this, and I had seen that just 30 minutes prior to that, because we're on a 30-minute calendar here. Say I saw that just 30 minutes prior to that, it broke through the top Bollinger Band. That is often a sign where it cannot sustain itself at that point any longer, and there's resistance keeping it from going up any farther, and it's going to tank and head swiftly towards the bottom Bollinger Band. And look at that. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So oftentimes if it breaks through the top Bollinger Band, it's going to take a significant dive towards the bottom Bollinger Band. And if you look at that relative to the rest of the market, it's still high. Relative to the rest of the market in this 24-hour period or 12-hour period, it's relatively high. But this is yet one of the patterns that if you see this, it's an opportunity to make a trade. So what that it's high? Like obviously if you owned it here and you waited out, you wouldn't have made money. Like if you waited out and you didn't take advantage of this opportunity right here, this is the only opportunity to make a profit right here. So say you bought right here, you open this up, you put a Bollinger Bands on the charts here, you saw that just a very short time ago, 30 minutes ago. Like I'm telling you, what if I looked at this 30 minutes after it had just broken through the Bollinger? I would think to myself, okay, it's broken through the Bollinger Band. That's a suggestion that it might take a significant dive towards the bottom Bollinger Band, which it did. At that point, knowing this and recognizing this pattern, this would have been a prime opportunity to buy because I would have been able to create a profit right here. Let's take a look. That was 2,353 Satoshi, going up to 2,757 Satoshi. So 350, 455, 400 Satoshi. That would have been about maybe a 7 cent profit. Yeah, it would have been a 7 cent profit that I would have been able to make right there. But if I didn't recognize this, I would have missed this. I probably wouldn't have bought here. I wouldn't have realized that there was an opportunity here. And even if I did buy and didn't understand what was going on here, well, it would have tanked more and I wouldn't have been able to see an opportunity. I wouldn't have been able to make money, and I still wouldn't have all the way to current time. Of course, in the future, you more than likely would have at some point. Who knows when, though? We can only see what's right in front of us here and read what we have and understand the patterns to formulate strong guesses as to what's going to happen in the market. So when it does do this, goes through the top Bollinger Band, oftentimes it's going to plummet, go into a bear market towards the bottom Bollinger Band. When it hits and goes through the bottom Bollinger Band, it's usually going to bounce back up. When it hits the bottom Bollinger Band, prime opportunity to buy. It goes back up. You make some sells. You don't have to be overly arrogant. You don't have to be greedy. You make some sells. It starts plummeting again, it breaks through. We see some long lower shadows on some red candlesticks. Remember what that meant? It's a sign that it's continuing to go into a bear market. It breaks way through. We make sure that we've got our Bollinger Bands on our studies again here. Breaks way through, we buy. We see an opportunity to sell, we make some profit. I myself probably wouldn't have done anything in here. Maybe I saw another chance if I wanted to liquidate a little bit more. There's a good time for some good volume in there. We can see that candlestick long and red. That means over that 30-minute period, there was a lot going on in there, a lot of ups and downs, and we might have been able to reach the top of that upper wick there, that upper shadow, created some profit, and then we saw red after red after red after red after red. We saw consistent 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270 minutes of a bear market. It breaks through the Bollinger Band. It's really been through the bottom Bollinger Band this whole time, but it's still going down. We're waiting. We're holding out. And then we see that the volume starts to stop. Look at this. This is a good point. This is another thing to decipher from this chart. Volume pretty decent, volume pretty decent, volume pretty decent, volume pretty decent. Volume slowing down. There's a huge variance here with the lower and upper shadows. But slowing down. We're keeping an eye on it now because we're seeing that it's starting to slow down, but we're not quite sure yet. What I would have done at this point is, I probably would have I honestly, I probably would have maybe bought some right here because I'm seeing volume. I probably would have bought something right here or waited for the next cycle to start and seen that the volume is starting to go down. And I'm seeing like, okay, that's oftentimes a sign. If you're breaking through the bottom Bollinger Band and the volume is decreasing, that's often a suggestion that the coin in this market right now can't sustain going down any farther and it's about to be bought back up by the buyers. That's oftentimes a sign. In this case, not always, because it continued to not do a whole bunch of volume, but then it dropped a lot more, okay? And if you were educated enough and had the patience to wait a little bit longer and you were keeping an eye on the cycle and you saw that the red closed on the bottom, it opened at the top again and continued going down, you'd be using patience, a good virtue of trading, to formulate making a buy right down in here. And then you start to see that, okay, well, this one closes, green opens at the bottom, it starts going up. Instead of it continuing to go down, we see that it starts going up. We've bought somewhere right in here, and we see it goes up. We make a sell. We make some profit right there, right? I probably wouldn't have done a whole bunch right in here because we're going from 1900 Satoshi to 2100. We're going from 1980 to 2100. I'm not making more than a cent or two there unless I have millions of coins. It doesn't make sense. Maybe buying a little bit in here and seeing an opportunity right there. Maybe in here seeing an opportunity right there. But you can see that every single instance, there is not one instance here where it broke through the top Bollinger Band and didn't go down at least to an extent. In all instances, it's either tanked all the way to the bottom Bollinger Band, or it has gone at least past the middle or the median. Okay, all opportunities to recognize these are Bollinger Bands, this is resistance and support. You now know buy and sell walls. And now in the next bit of training, we're getting into the advanced stuff, recognizing patterns, recognizing trends in bull versus bear markets, okay? We're recognizing further into resistance and support. We're going to talk about breakouts, breakdowns, multiple patterns, and we'll also talk about coin research, coins to invest in, ICOs, setting up notifications to increase profits, getting ICOs onto the exchange, converting Bitcoin into cash, getting the Bitcoin Visa cards, and more. We will see you in the next video.